I just signed a 20 million contract and came home to tell my family. But my brother pushed me down the stairs. And when I woke up in the hospital, my dad said I deserved it days later. My whole family came to mock me. Dad screamed, "Oh my God. Why the hell did you come back here, Donald?" Mason's voice cracked like thunder in the living room, echoing against the peeling wallpaper. He stood at the staircase, fists tight, glass trembling on the table where he'd slammed it down. Mom hovered by the kitchen doorway, lips pressed shut, her eyes swimming. Dad sat sunk in his old recliner, the one that smelled like whiskey and ash, glaring at me like I'd already been condemned. The house reeked of burnt coffee and old dust. I hadn't even dried from the rain outside. My chest still carried the heat of the news I was ready to share. But I never got the chance. "You think you can waltz in here with your little stories, acting better than us?" Mason snarled. I didn't say a damn word, I muttered, voice low. "Exactly," Dad snapped, pointing his glass at me. "That's all you ever do. Stay quiet until you can twist it your way." My silence. It always unnerved them more than anger could. Then Mason jabbed a finger in my chest. "Don't act innocent. We know. You stole from us." The room froze. Even the hum of the fridge seemed to hold its breath. "My name's Donald Keaton, 26 years old. The quiet one. The one they used like a coat rack, left in the corner until they needed something to hang their shame on. They never noticed me until it suited them. Never cared until it cost them. I learned early that words wasted on them only came back as knives. So I shut up. I watched. But silence doesn't mean weakness. It means I've been storing truths they can't imagine carrying. And tonight, I had one truth they would choke on. Family members introduced. Mason, 31, my brother. Built like Dad, with a mean streak that grew sharper the more liquor he poured down his throat. Always the golden boy, even when he messed up. Clara, 28, my sister. Mouth quick as fire, every word meant to wound. She leaned against the wall, scrolling her phone, but her smirk told me she was listening. Mom, Evelyn. Fragile frame, watery eyes. Always pretending not to hear when things got ugly, but crying into her apron later. She loved peace more than truth. And Dad, Richard Keaton. 60. The judge, the executioner, the one who built this house with rage and control. His word was law, and law never favored me. The four of them stared, waiting for me to crack. But I wasn't breaking. Not this time. "You're out of your mind," I told Mason. "You drained that account," Clara cut in, eyes sharp. "The savings Dad set up. It's empty," I frowned. "That's not mine to touch." Dad slammed his glass down. "And yet it's gone. Who else could it be?" The storm circled me. Their voices clashed like knives, blaming, accusing. My heart didn't even race. I'd seen this circus before. But then Mason slipped. "Don't pretend like you don't know how this family works, Don. We've covered for you enough times." Covered for me? No. They'd buried me alive under lies. But cover me? Never. "Stop," I said, my voice calm. But it sliced through their shouting. They froze. "You think this is about money?" I leaned forward, eyes on each of them. "No. This is about what you all did to me." The air thickened. Clara's smirk vanished. Mom shifted uneasily, wringing her hands. Even Mason flinched, if only for a second. Dad scoffed. Always playing the victim. But something in my tone made the room tilt. I was 16 when it happened. Mason had wrecked Dad's car after a party. He was too drunk to stand. Clara was in the back seat, laughing, lipstick smeared. They dragged me out of bed, made me hold the keys, made me take the blame. I still remember the cuffs cutting my wrists, the officer's flashlight in my eyes, the smell of gasoline and blood. I didn't speak then either. What was the point? 3 years of probation, community service. The name criminal stitched to me while Mason kept his golden boy shine. And Dad, he said, "It's what family does. You take the fall." Family. That word tasted like rust in my mouth ever since. "You really want to talk about theft?" I asked, voice steady. Then let's... I pulled the envelope from my coat. Their eyes followed it like prey. I just signed a $20 million contract. My own name, my own work. No Keaton strings attached. The silence cracked into chaos. Clara dropped her phone. Mom gasped. Mason's jaw unhinged. Dad leaned forward, eyes narrow, greedy. But then I said the line that tore the room apart. And I know why you're panicking, because that account you said I stole from, Mason emptied it last month. Mason's face drained. Dad turned to him, fury exploding. Clara cursed under her breath. I'd waited years for this moment, and I had the receipts. The house exploded. Shouts layered over shouts. Mom crying, Clara screaming at Mason, Dad demanding answers. But me? I stood still. Calm. I gave you all my silence, I said, voice low but sharp enough to still the room. Tonight, I give you the truth. Clara whipped toward me, face pale. You set us up. No, I said. You set yourselves up. I just stopped covering your mess. And then something I never expected. Mom stepped forward, her voice trembling. Donald, please, don't do this. Not to defend me, but to protect them. That was the moment I knew. I never really had a mother here. I grabbed my coat. Mason shouted, Dad barked, Clara cursed. None of it touched me. For once, I wasn't leaving in shame. I was leaving free. At the door, Clara whispered, You'll regret this. I looked back, steady. No. You will. Mom tried one last plea, tears streaking her face. Donald, we can fix this. I shook my head. You'll never see me the same again, and I don't need you to. And with that, I stepped into the rain. It was cold outside, but my chest felt lighter than it had in years. The rain washed down my face, and for once, it didn't sting. Behind me, their house was still screaming, still crumbling. But it wasn't my cage anymore. I thought of the years I carried their weight, the nights I begged myself to endure one more day, and for the first time, I let it all fall. I don't carry them anymore, I whispered to the dark. And in that silence, there was peace. If you were in my place, would you forgive? Or would you walk away forever? Tell me in the comments. Your voice matters here. Share your story below. We build strength together. Like if you felt Donald's pain, it means the world. Subscribe for more powerful, raw stories that cut deep.